I founded Fusion Chemical about 12 years and recently sold the company with the help of Sarah and her team, which has been fantastic. I got to a point where I can't just be a salesman. I need to really start running and organizing the company. As the company got bigger, I was really starting to understand the importance of cash flow, inventory levels, good bookkeeping, and I had a business advisor. He just said, the company's growing too fast. The kind of information you're putting out of QuickBooks, but it's not a good position for you to run your company at because you really need good information to make good decisions. I was looking for someone to just build me reports so I could start tracking our sales, start tracking our costs on a weekly basis. Sarah is an extremely bright person. She had been in my shoes as a business owner. She knows the struggles and the importance of good financial information. We simply just took one step forward and she was able to build some reports really quickly. Our company grew 20%. That's the real result of good financial reporting. The people on our team could see, here's where we started, here's where we need to go. And every month they could see whether they're on pace or not. It's not about the cost of the service. It's about what you get of the service. I judge Sarah based on all the information and all the things that she would give me to help run the company better. It was very quick. Within the first couple of weeks, I knew that I needed to invest more into Platinum CFO and accounting. We had a lady to go on maternity leave, and she was our business manager, and she ran everything for our company and did a good job. But Sarah was happy to jump in, take over maternity leave, and our company did not miss a beat. During that time, it was an opportunity for Sarah to really dive deep into our books and and Sarah was able to take that time not only to do the job of the office, but really do a deep dive into the way we processed orders, paid our people, received money, or inventory levels. My advisors were really looking for some good information. So she was fantastic.
In terms of value for folks that do have their own back office staff is really a little bit of mentorship and training and helping them to refine the process and procedures that they have and train them as the company grows. A lot of times people start off with sort of a basic accounting knowledge, right? And they start with the company and that works just fine. But as the company grows, the challenges and the needs of the company do change over time. A lot of times the employees that are there don't get the additional education and the additional support. The owner is busy trying to run the business.
We were on a Gusto, which is self-managed type payroll HR system, and we went to a full PEO, private employer organization, and we did that mid-order. There was a lot of taxes that were not filed nor paid in a lot of different states. I presented this problem with Sarah, and she goes, I can do it. She made sure that we got all the taxes paid, made sure our employees got paid what they're supposed to be paid, worked with the PEO, who was very much a challenge. If I asked Sarah to do something, I didn't have to remind her. She always follows up. She's so organized, just to the point, very kind, very sweet, gets right to business. Sarah is more of a business partner.
That's really how I like to look at the relationship with my clients, that I'm a trusted member of the team. We like to view ourselves as a true partner with our clients and not just kind of a cost center that you have to kind of deal with because you have to. We like to be the person you call when you need something, you have a problem. I was lacking a lot of support in my entrepreneurial journey. In the beginning, we had people that were interns and people that were very nice, but they were completely unqualified to be in the finance roles that I put them in. I didn't know what I didn't know in the beginning, and my CPA was very disinterested in coming in to help. So we struggled a lot. As I grew, I didn't really know what metrics to be checking, what to look for. My CPA came to me and said, how's your year going? And I said, we're having the best year ever. And he said, well, there's one problem. You're losing money. How is that possible that we're losing money? They weren't a true partner for me. I still work with them on my taxes to this day, but they just weren't a partner for me to be there throughout the year. And I wish that I had maybe gone out and hired somebody like myself. Then when we decided to sell our business, it was very much the same thing.
Selling this company, everything funneled through Sarah. I was talking to her about EBITDA, and I had developed this little app, I thought, for ad back, and I was so nervous talking to her. She's like, this is what we got to do. Here's a spreadsheet. And I was so focused on what I thought needed to be done. If I would have paused and listened to her, here's a lady that sold a very large company to private equity, had been through the process, worked at the very large company that ended up buying Fusion with lots of attorneys, companies, lots of advisors. The team that we worked with and ultimately did sell the company, I'm very happy that I did so. They had a very large team. They knew what they were doing, and they asked for very pointed and detailed information. And Sarah was able to put this information together to the point where this group is still working with Sarah. This organization starts to buy more companies.
Selling your business is no joke. It's a lot of work. You do have to keep running your company. The numbers have to stay good. If you can, definitely get support through that process. Get somebody on the team to help you. It's quite a large amount of work, and a lot of it tends to be very detail oriented and specific as it relates mostly to finance. I told Matt several times throughout the deal, hey, I made this mistake in my deal. I made that mistake in my deal. Don't do that. So having that experience was helpful, giving you advice when you were walking through your sale process.
There was never once where we would try to hide something or not tell the buyer about an area that was a challenge with a customer or an employee or something that might make the buyer not want to buy the company. There were times where we had customers that were on the verge of a bankruptcy or they're getting ready to file, would bring that information to the forefront. Some rookie people would say is, why would you share that information? That's going to just push them away. It really doesn't. It actually makes you closer because it builds more trust with the buyer.
That's important because no company is going to be perfect. No deal is perfect. Being able to work through those and keep your eye on the bigger picture and the partnership that is going to take place and what both parties are going to get out of the deal is really valuable and really important. We had some challenges with timelines and other things, but we were able to negotiate and work with the buyers. That's a bit overwhelming. Just giving yourself a minute to think between questions and have someone else be able to jump in and be your advocate and then think of something that maybe you didn't think about or bring up something or package something in a different way. Just having the support and not feeling like you're hanging out there alone.
If you think you need more expertise, don't do what I did. Wait for business advisors to tell you what you already know you need. You need some help on the back end of your company. If you're built on sales and you're not an operation guy, you need to find an operation person. The amount of information, the amount of results that I would get from Sarah. So prior to Sarah, I had an accountant in Indianapolis. It was just horrible. I didn't like going to his office. I didn't like sitting down with him because I didn't get any kind of good information. When you talk with Sarah, she's looking at your financial information. She's saying, okay, Matt, with this information, you can build this type of report. Why aren't you talking to your team about these procedures? She wants the company to operate like a mean machine and people come and go. As they come and go, you need to have operations and procedures in place.
We talked about putting in place was the succession planning for his staff. Matt has the ability to make changes if he needs to, or not be afraid if someone leaves, that he has a plan in place. And that's what truly sets you free as a business owner, to be able to either spend time with your family and have a life a little bit. I have a very hard time explaining things in maybe layperson terms. I just didn't understand a lot of what they said in the beginning. I had to ask so many questions and do so much research on my own. So one of the things that I pride myself on is being able to explain things in a way that kind of makes sense and it's not overly complicated. I like to help people that are trying to set everything up. They've got a couple years under their belt and they're trying to formalize it. Okay, now we're making money. How do we set things up going forward so we can grow? It's nice to be brought in the beginning, if we can be, to help set that all up. When we had just 5 people, we needed very different things than when we had 50. We can do a little bit of business consulting too, or the finance things, even checks and balances, permissions in QuickBooks. What do you give people for permissions and how to set those up? What to be on the lookout for in terms of fraud? A company that's growing and needing help, we could offer a lot of value to those folks as well.
A lot of business owners or entrepreneurs are salespeople at heart. They have an idea, they see the idea, they go sell the idea to one customer, then they take it to a second customer and a third, and then they start to get into areas that they're just not familiar with. They also realize that they're going to have to give up information, but if you want to grow your business, you must continually replace yourself, and then you need to tell your employees the same thing. Once you hire a business manager, we need to continue to look for other people to replace you, so your job goes from very broad spectrum to very narrow. Small, medium, or large companies could use Sarah's services. I would say at a small company in the beginning, the best thing Sarah can do is really set up some procedures and some processes and check balances, not only to help help you grow the business, but it'll protect your business from within. You don't want accounts receivable being in charge of accounts payable. You have to have some procedures in place to protect yourself. And as a business owner, you don't know all these things unless you've been a general manager, unless you've run a company. So we end up being a medium-sized company. We've shared about all those types of things where I needed a part-time CFO. That's what Sarah did. She helped as a business advisor, just helping me organize and sell the business.